Okay, so I wanted to make a video on how to draw anything quickly. So here it goes. Somebody said that they liked my Shrike drawing, which was a bird. So I wanted to show how I can quickly draw a bird. All these are sort of construction lines. So I want to, I guess, express that a lot of lines that you draw don't matter at all. So just draw a bunch of lines that you could leave or take. I drew the beak on one side of the face, so it looks like it's looking towards the viewer, but it could easily be on the side of the face, wherever you want. But just drawing a bunch of lines that don't matter is a good place to start. Then you can sort of see where the bird emerges. So as you see the form kind of developing, you can put more lines down. I had an instructor once say that you shouldn't ever be committed to any one line you've drawn. If you need to move a line or draw another line, that contradicts a line, do that. But if the more committed you are to a specific line, the more difficulty you'll have. So be ready to kind of improvise and mess around. So now I've overcommitted. You can see a lot of those construction lines have become invisible, which is how they sort of guided the drawing. But now I've overcommitted a lot of lines and they're stuck there. So if I wanted to change it, I'd have to either start over, white out, which isn't a great idea, or make lines that are much, much darker, which other pens can do, but I'm using a ballpoint pen because it's fast and dirty and easy to make lines that disappear. So here we go. I decided to improvise an elephant, and part of it's knowing what an elephant looks like. And if your lines are looking a lot like an elephant, go with those lines, and the lines that don't look like an elephant, pretend they don't exist, and then start drawing darker and darker lines that emphasize an elephant sort of characteristic to the drawing. If you need to look at a reference or you need to trace, I think all those are reasonable. This kind of looks like a bug kind of to me right now, but it's coming out better. You can draw edges darker and darker, and honestly, like, the more lines that sort of appear, the more form it has. So you can see I shaded under so it looks like the toe is pointed down as if it's walking forward. The trunk is a little short here, so I extended it. So you can see right there I didn't overcommit to a line, and it looks like it was almost on purpose, but it was not on purpose. So going back into the places that I want to have more, looks like I'm moving on here to the next drawing. I think I'll draw a tree. This is kind of a cone-shaped bonsai-looking tree. So bonsai trees can be pretty ornamental, and in this case the foliage is very cloud-like and gathered, which kind of can look natural and kind of look a bit fantasy. I'm drawing foliage on both sides of the trunk. I'm darkening the underside, adding the roots. Shading under the foliage like a canopy, which darkens the trunk. And now we've added some grass for scale, because it looked like it could have been a redwood, but now it's just a juniper of some kind, or pine. So now I'm gonna improvise a horse. We'll see about that. Horses are tough. But they do have 4 legs. I probably would have been better off to look at a horse. It looks like it's jumping off the ground or got all 4 feet off the ground, so it's going quickly, or jumped over something. You can see the head is a place where I'm doing a lot of those construction lines that aren't committed. You know, this could be a dinosaur if I put a different head on it. I could put some wings on it and be a dragon. Put a little tail on there. It looks like the legs have covered up the midsection of a horse, which is kind of something that horse legs don't really do, so. I darkened it out. I probably should have given it a bit more of a gut. It's a skinny horse. Yeah, not my best horse, but pretty good for no reference. I don't know if the head's too big. You horse experts out there can scrutinize it. Sometimes you just gotta say you're done. Try to give it more of a cheek. Alright. Different kind of tree. Sometimes it's deciding when your tree looks enough like a tree, or your horse looks enough like a horse, and just stopping. Or do you keep going and make a terrible mess without thinking about it? I think I made my lines too short. I could have gone across the whole tree with a few of those shade lines. So now I'll draw a face. I'm well practiced at those. So you can see I've created a construction of familiar lines. It's recognizable as a face. So it's pretty unrecognizable as far as a specific person, but it has the general features. I've darkened around the eyes. The thing about faces is the more lines you put on them, the older they look. So I guess some being sparing with lines is better sometimes. It's definitely not the most detailed face, but it does look like one. So I'm going to draw another. This one's going to be a 3/4 perspective on it. These again are some construction lines. You'll notice that the eyebrow on the far brow is kind of connected to the you can see I'm drawing the contours of the eyelids underneath the eyebrow, and darkening, shading between the nose and the eyes. There's the bridge of the nose to give it more form. And the lip, which the mouth is open, so it's obviously talking to the other person. Not too bad. And then the cheekbone and the brow line will change, because people have eyebrows that stick out. I'll add some hair to the other person. Smudge that face drawing with my hand. Give them a bushier eyebrow. Oh, there you go. Give them a hairline that's a little bit Well, it's not too bad. He's probably more self-conscious about it than I am. So just scribbling some ears. You want you want to have the hair be a shape. You don't want to make it every strand of hair and every hair looks the same. Neck, sternocleidomastoid, shade under the neck a little bit to give it a little bit of the form and light source. Just really abbreviate things that aren't the focus of the drawing. If you draw too much on the other parts of the drawing that are not your focus, it draws attention from the things that are. So it's okay to be sparse in places that don't matter, in my opinion. I think it draws attention to the places you want to draw attention to. Nice long lines. A lot of people don't do long lines. I didn't do a very good core shadow on there, but I drew it quickly. So I decided to move away from the faces and draw something a little different. It's like kind of a cartoon dog or husky or bear. I mean, it could be anything with how the ears are shaped. So until those ears are shaped like something that's up in the air. A little cartoon character. It's silly. Make sure you know that's the horse down there. Not usually a cartoon. I mean, I don't really draw cartoon animals so much, but draw another one just for giggles. It's a kitty. So, I guess what I'm trying to do with these cartoon characters is to show that whether you draw something extremely realistic or a cartoon, there's a lot of variation you can have to have something be recognizable as a figure or a character. I tend to be more on the realism side, not realistic, but something that looks real or surreal. But cartoons are a good thing to be able to do as well, just symbols of things. That's it.